Good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be here today. As you can see, the sun is shining, and it's a beautiful day here in coastal Virginia. We've got so much going on. Life is good. I'm happy to be with you. I'm happy to have the opportunity to share the message of inner understanding and wisdom with you. I'm thankful that you show up and support me in this work, in what I do. I'm very grateful and thankful. Life is wonderful, and so are you. So let's begin as we do every day, or every day that we're alive, with our breathing exercise, which is in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, hold, out through the mouth, in even counts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so let's begin. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. In through the nose, hold, out through the mouth. Open your eyes if they're closed. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And if you're out there today um, being part of this, please send me a little message that says hello or a thumbs up. Let me know you're there. It's nice to know that there are people out there in the world listening. So today I want to talk about embracing oneself as divine. And I realize it's repetitious. And what I've come to know is, hey Jim, it's good to see you. What I've come to know is that repetition is how we are able to release ourselves from the untrue teaching that we have been given as children, as members of a society, as members of a world, teachings that are really fundamental, like the the person who has the most toys at the end wins. That's not the case. I am, cancel that. You are your body. That's not the case. You are not good enough. That's not the case. You are simple. That's not the case. You owe me. That's not the case. And every other aspect of this three-dimensional world that has been laid upon us since we were conceived, because the conversations that mommy and daddy had while little Polly was in the womb had impact on the ideas and the beliefs that little Polly grew up with. And what little Polly, as he grew into bigger Polly, and as he became more aware, and as he became more enlightened, came to understand that all of the guidelines, and all of the rules about what really matters and what is just so so were misconstrued completely. And it begins with of God wherever I am. I am made in the image and likeness of God. I am bestowed with the attributes of God. I am in dominion over this illusory three-dimensional plane. And the way to become aware of that within myself as so is to eliminate everything that I was taught that says differently. Whenever, so once upon a time, I was a painting contractor. And once upon a time, I had up to 20 people who worked for my company. And it became my responsibility to train each one of those people. And so people would come to me and say, hi, I want to work. And I'd say, what kind of experience do you have? And they'd be all happy and go, well, I've been painting for 10 years and I painted for this guy and that guy and I know this and I know that and I know something else. And I'd go, well, okay. So, let me think about it. And then somebody would come up who would say, I've never painted before. I don't know anything about painting. I don't know the difference between a paintbrush and a ladder. But I want to paint. I want to work for you. I want to work for your company. I'll do you a good job. And frequently, I would hire them on the spot. What I came to realize is it's easier to teach someone who has no idea of what's going on than it is to teach someone who already knows a whole lot about something that is not quality knowingness. Training people out of shortcuts is the most pain in the neck that anybody can get to. Yet, going back to our point about understanding our divine consciousness, none of us come to this without any idea. All of us come to this with plenty of ideas telling us how we are inadequate, telling us about how we are wrong, telling us about how we are inherently bad, we're inherently broken, we're inherently sinners. All of which I say to you today is untrue. I am the expression of God wherever I am. And you and I are the same. We are cut from the same cloth. Yet we have to overcome all of the conversation that, and the older we are, the more there is to overcome. The truth is so. Letting go of the idea that I am this body, and that when this body ceases to exist, I cease to exist, is the pinnacle of the retraining necessary. It is the pinnacle. Yet the only vehicle that I have seen work, that doesn't mean it's the only vehicle that works. It just means in my limited experience, the only one that I have known to work is repetition, is constant repetition, denying the fear, denying the separation from all that is, denying divine consciousness. Everything about me that says that is so must be overcome and replaced with I am the presence of God wherever I am. I am whole. I am the spark that ignites life in this body. I am the animator of this body. I am the engine that drives this body. I am the source that uses this body to my benefit. This is my body. This is my vehicle. This is that which I chose to use to navigate the potholes of this three-dimensional experience. This is what the whole of this human life is about. Regardless of who you are, regardless of where you are, regardless of your situation, regardless of whether you're a mommy or a daddy or a child, regardless of whether you're a painter or a nuclear physicist or an astronaut or a pilot, regardless of all of that, who you are is the divine expression of all that is. And the whole point and purpose of this experience is to realize that using that which we here in this three-dimensional plane have, which is free will. Or in other words, I must consciously choose to embrace that I am the divine presence of all that is wherever I am, and acknowledge it in every moment constantly so as to replace the untrue that I believe about myself. I don't know how many of you out there can honestly look in the mirror and find no fault with yourself. Yet, the whole point of this whole experience is to look in the mirror and find no fault with yourself. And realize that every experience available is being experienced to guide this experience into knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt that I am am. God is I am. Am the manifestation of God wherever I am. We have this delusion that if we do something that we consider to be imperfect in this three-dimensional plane, that that is ungodly. Yet when we look out into nature and we really observe what's going on, we notice that what is perfect is the collection of complete imperfection to the material eye, to the material mind. We look up at a tree and we see it's all beautiful and it's all spread out, except right over there, there's that one branch that's broken and hanging down. Oh, that tree would be perfect if it didn't have that branch. Excuse me. That is that critical three-dimensional mind, which is trained to perceive that way. It becomes our responsibility to retrain that mind, to retrain that mind to see the perfection as it is, without any consideration of our perception of imperfect. That's a big, big choice. It's a huge step. It's an incredible undertaking. It's a lifetime's work. Yet, it's the point. Simply saying to oneself in a continuous loop, all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. Just saying that to oneself out loud or quietly. Out loud's better. Out loud gets a stronger impact on this three-dimensional being. But those simple words, all is well, will reshape the understanding that I have of myself, of that you have of yourself. And it's not necessarily a simple thing to do, because we are so trained to find fault, to see imperfection, to judge this is good or this is bad, this is right or this is wrong. Don't they know what they're doing? Why do they do that? Are they just selfish or what? The reality is they don't know what they're doing. They're unconscious. They're simply unconscious. Only those that are conscious can understand or even perceive. And so to really be in a place to go, well, why did they do that, is a step up. But in fact, it can drive one crazy if the next step's not taken. And the next step is genuinely to realize they just don't know, whoever they are, which happens to be part of myself. And then I get to look at how much about me there is that simply does not know. and allow that to be. And that by allowing that to be, knowing flows in. The illusion of the three-dimensional plane is absolutely reverse to everything that really matters. Everything in the three-dimensional plane is absolutely reverse to everything that genuinely matters. All is well here. All is well. All is well. Werner Erhard, the founder of the EST program, created a whole billion-dollar industry on a simple understanding. And that simple understanding came to him after years in India and after years of doing all kinds of other stuff and hanging out with gurus and on and on and on. He's driving across the Oakland Bay Bridge from San Francisco to Oakland, and it comes on him like a ton of lead bricks. There's nothing already wrong here anyway, which happens to be in the English language a double negative, which creates a positive. It's the manifestation of everything that we perceive is in direct opposition to what is so. There's nothing already wrong here anyway. One would think, oh, it'd be easier to say everything's right here. Yet the impact necessary on the intellect and on the emotional body and on pride and ego required the double negative to make impact in this three-dimensional world because we are so conditioned to buy into the illusion, which is in direct opposition to everything that really is so. Every single master for the last of written history have talked about exactly the same thing. The Buddha, for instance, went out and he came from wealth, he escaped it, he went out, he lived an austere life, he beat himself, he starved himself, he lived in caves, he wore camel hair clothes, he did all kinds of stuff. Yet he never came to the understanding that he was desiring. So he just stopped doing anything. He just stopped and sit down under a tree. And it finally came to him. There's nothing already wrong here anyway. It is what it is. Extremes don't matter. The middle way is the choice. That was the Buddha's enlightenment. And what I offer you today is to begin to embrace the reality that the intellect, the emotion, the ego, the pride must be retrained. And there's only one being available to retrain it, and that is I am. I've recently published a little booklet, a new booklet. Wait right there. This booklet is now available to anyone that wants it. Just send me a message and I will tell you how to make it happen. And the practice, it's not the only practice that's available, but it's the only one that I've used that worked, will allow each person to systematically release everything that says, I am damaged, and embrace everything that says, I am the manifestation of God wherever I am. And freedom begins and freedom manifests. So if you want a little booklet, send me a message, let me know. Retraining consciousness. And I'll be glad to get one into your hands. Yet we must take responsibility for our own retraining. It is all that matters in this life. The point, the whole point, the way to end the continuing reincarnation into this three-dimensional plane is to embrace I am. And a way to embrace I am is described with specific technique in this little booklet. Beautiful words do not make a difference. Active, disciplined pursuit and perseverance is what makes the change for each individual. I love you. I love you, each and every one. I am grateful for you. I am grateful that at least a moment in your life you've had the opportunity to embrace I am the presence of God wherever I am. I acknowledge you as the presence of God wherever you are. I embrace you as myself. Namaste. Namaste.